guys, it's great to see you. I'm Miss Joli, and I'll be your visual artist for this lesson. Today, we're going to be talking about Mount Olympus and the Greek gods from the ancient Greek civilizations. We will create an artwork about buildings that we see in Greece and also a Greek landscape. The materials we're going to need are a piece of paper, scissors, pencil, erasers. I always bring a little extra one just in case. We have a box of markers and glue stick or glue bottle, a ruler, or if you don't have a ruler, some kind of flat edge will work perfectly, and a box of crayons. I have two small pieces of construction paper. They're 9 by 6 size, so it's like a half a sheet of paper of construction paper in two light colors. Oh, and you might want to use a Ziploc bag for scraps. If you have a Ziploc bag, go ahead and just put your student number on it. That'll be real fast and easy. Let's take a look at the location of Greece. All right, here's our map of the world. We have North America here. This is where we live, right here. And South America and Africa and Asia and Europe. Right in here, we have Greece. So we're going to zoom in on this, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at, this is Europe. This is Europe, and Greece is right down there. This is all the Greece area. It has a whole bunch of little islands and such there, all kind of little islands. Here is a map of ancient Greece and Rome. And the reason I put Rome in there, this is Rome and then this is Greece. The Roman Empire actually confiscated or took over all of these areas. So the Roman Empire ruled and influenced all these dark areas. And they also took ideas from all those areas as well. The Roman Empire, they adapted and borrowed different ideas from the Greeks. They took the Greek architecture. That was an important influence to the Romans. The Greeks used to like to use marble for their temples and their sometimes their homes for their gods. The Romans used concrete to build huge stadiums like the Colosseum and where the gladiators fought. So actually, both parties actually influence each other. It's like your neighbor influences the neighborhood. Like when one neighbor would get something, if everybody really liked it, they would all kind of share things. So the Romans and the Greeks kind of shared different ideas as well. Mount Olympus was the highest point in Greece. It was actually first climbed in 1913. It's a common feature in Greek mythology. Olympus was noted as the home of the Greek gods, actually 12 of the Greek gods, and it's part of the Olympus National Park. The region was declared Greece's first national park in 1938, and it has a huge amount of biodiversity, and it has 52 peaks, and it has several gorges. It's like those great big deep ditch areas. Okay, and it contains like 32 species of mammals. Beautiful sights. We don't have mountains here, but boy, when you start viewing mountains, these come up way up high. Way up high. Okay, so here is where I put all the names of everybody who's sitting on Mount Olympus. We have Dionysus, we have Hermes, we have Hephaestus, we have Aphrodite, Poseidon, remember he's the brother, Hera the wife, of course Zeus, he's the king of all the gods, Demeter, she's over the wilderness and such. We have Athena, remember, goddess of war, and then Ares is also of war, and Apollo here, like he's the one with the music, and Artemis. So that's all the gods that sit on Mount Olympus. They do have a couple others, but those are the ones that live on Mount Olympus. Okay, we're going to talk about marble. Now, the Greeks love to work with marble. See, it kind of has these little veins that kind of go inside of the look of marble. It's got all kind of little different colors too as well. And here's another picture of marble. And we're going to look for that marbleized kind of look in our artwork. We're going to create it. So we're going to go ahead and take our couple little sheets of paper that we have. You should have 2 small pieces, about 9 by 6 size. And we're going to use this with some markers to get that marble look. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to use some markers, and we're going to take the cap off the marker, but we're also going to do like this. You see how I'm rolling my fingers? It's like you're doing this when you want more money, right? Well, we're going to roll it, and we're going to start on one side of a paper, and we're going to probably keep going the same direction. And look, I'm going to just roll it. Okay, that's going to give us a little marble look, a little marble texture look. And I like to do a color that's lighter and a color that's darker. You can cross over some of these. It doesn't matter how it looks. I'm going to do it on both of them. I'm going to use the same kind of colors. You see how you use the side of it? You want it to be really fluid when you're using it. This does not take long at all. It gives it, and then you can go ahead and put a few little specks. A few little specks in there. Little veins. Okay, that's my yellow that I used in both of them. I usually like to get a color that's different than the color there. I'm going to go ahead and use a contrasting color here, and I'm going to do the same thing we just did, and I'm going to go ahead and roll the side. You see how I take the side? Sometimes I go on the point, sometimes I just take the side. I'm just giving the look of marble. Okay, so see how it just kind of rolls over. It's gonna look so totally cool, and this part's fun, but we don't want to put too much, but we do want to put a little. And then you can put some specks, a few little specks in your marble. There we go. I like to go ahead and go with it. This is blue paper, so I'm going to go ahead and put a darker blue on this one and do the same thing. I always like to start off with the lighter color first, because I don't want that to get on I don't want the dark color to get on my light color papers. And I might use the ends, so make sure you get your ends. Now, I'm not going to use this one on the green one. I'm going to do a different color on the green one. And go ahead and put you some little dashes or slashes. And you can have some little curves in there. I'm going to go ahead and put some, I usually did purple on that one. Did orange with it, but that's okay. I might have a little more color on this one. And sometimes the lines might not finish. The lines might go somewhere else. Give it that marble look. And here's the green. I'll put a little more green. This is the fun part. All right, so that's my two little pieces of paper that look like marble. I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them off to the side and get my white sheet of paper. Okay, Okay, this is our sheet of paper. This is going to be my artwork, and I'm going to go ahead and put my name on it. And I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. This is going to have my background on it, and this is going to be my mountain terrain of Mount Olympus. So we want to place our paper horizontally, where that it goes all the way across the page, and not vertically, landscape style. We want to go ahead and not do the portrait style. We want the landscape style. So this is landscape style, horizontal. All right, the top of our paper will be for our mountains. The bottom will be for everything is going to be in the foreground, and then we have the midground here. Here's our mountain, and let's see, I'm going to just go ahead and just draw some mountains. And I can put some more mountains in the background behind it. All right, so that's going to be my mountains. And I'm just giving you ideas of what we can put. I'm going to go ahead and put some little hills and valleys. We can go ahead and put also some trees and such in the distance, or some can be close, some can be far. I like to draw my trees with the brown. And this one here, I'm going to go ahead and put some that's part of the tree. I'm going to also do another tree right here, and it's going to come up. Sometimes I start with the shape first. I'm going to think of different trees with different shapes. The base of the tree is going to be thicker. The top of the tree is going to be thinner. This one I'm going to use as an oval. Actually, I can go ahead and come up here. This will be my oval tree. This one over here, I'm going to go ahead and do it like a triangle. And I'll get that way we get started, and if we're gonna run out of time, you can go ahead and color it up. Sometimes I like to go ahead and put some water coming from the distance. So maybe this here would be some water that's going to be flowing. And I like to use purples in my mountains. And I also like to go ahead, and I like to color them a little sideways here too. I like to add more and more and more and more color. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is actually what our artwork ends up looking like. And see how I have purple in the distance? And I went ahead and put, it could be a stream, it could be a river, whichever. Have my couple of trees, you can put bushes. And we're gonna just do the whole background, and or we can add this part for our building and then do the background. But I'd like you to fill in the area where you want to go ahead and have the building. So where I want my building is going to be green right here, so that I can go ahead and glue it down. It's easier to color it first. And notice how I'm using the color sideways, and I'm putting just a little bit pressure. And I can keep adding more and more and more color. I add color as I go. Sometimes I add more yellows to certain areas. Maybe I have yellow in the closer up. I'm going to go ahead and put me a sunshine in my picture, and I like to do a little spiral to show my sun's beating down. I color it up. If you have a white, I usually like to take a white and put the white around it, because what happens when blue and yellow touch? What happens when they mix? They turn what color? They turn green. And that wouldn't be too swift in my sky. We don't have green in our sun. And you see how I turn the color sideways sometimes. We can come back to that too as well. I'm going to be gluing my artwork here on my picture. So I'm going to put some of this, I'll put browns and purples. I like to think of mountains with purple for purple mountain majesties. Just like our anthems say. I like to color a little yellow on this side because the light is showing it on this side. And when purple and yellow meet and mix, they turn brown anyway. But it'll give it a little glistening from that side. Same thing here. I like to add the color here. So I'll darken up the one side on the back side and lighten up the front side. And I can put some of this in front here. You can go ahead and color everything else after you get your artwork up in the middle. We're going to be using our marbled paper to do our little building here. I like to put browns on the back end. I'm going to go ahead and put this mostly greens. It's so much easier to have it already done right there. And then I'll come back to the rest of it. This is where my building's going to be. Okay, so remember, we're going to go ahead and finish coloring it when we have spare time. We're going to go ahead and take our pieces of paper here. What I like to do is I like to fold it in half and then open it up on the fold and cut that. I'm just going to use my little straight edge and go straight this way, and then I'll have a couple of sheets. Now, with this paper you have here, you have plenty. You definitely have plenty. I did not use everything I needed. So now I have two smaller pieces, and do the same thing. I'm just going to cut because I know. Now I need to decide how big I want. These are my pieces. This is what I have. Actually, you're only going to basically use 2 of them. The other is just extra and just in case you need. So what I like to do is I take one and I will fold it. This way. And I like to just tap the back. See how I have a little point right here? Okay, I'm going to take my pencil and my ruler and draw a line here and another line here. So I'll get a triangle, and the other one I'll just have as a rectangle. So here's my if you are not sure how to do something, you can always just fold it. So this is going to be my top here. Okay, so we have our triangle here for the top. Then I have this big piece. You can fold it and cut down the fold, or you can just cut right down the middle. And I want to cut straight down the middle on this one. This will be my first couple of steps for my buildings. And I'm going to take just a little square off of this side and a little square off of this side. And I can glue it here and here. This I don't need right now. I will go ahead and take this one here and do the same thing again, but I don't need all of that. I can like to match them up so I'll have about the same amount of distance. You see, you really don't need all of that paper, but it's just in case you mess up. Oops. I'll cut a little off of here. I'll get another bit off of here. Okay, so I'm going to cut off another little step coming up here. I have to watch not to cut too much, then I won't have much on the top. I'll have to make really thin ones. So that's going to be my steps for the bottom, because their steps would come up to their building. It meant it was highly important there. I could use some of this for some of the building pieces. Let's see, I think I'm going to use these two. I'm going to cut it right down the middle here. Now I'll need one about the same size distance to put in the middle. I'll cut it off of here, I guess. You can actually come up with many different styles. I like to vary my colors. So I put one in the middle. I will glue one here and one on both sides here. What I would suggest is to go ahead and take out your glue stick and glue them while you're trying to glue them. This is what some of my students have done in the past. You can see those. They have all different styles, and after it's completely dry, you take a marker and you trace lines on it. Actually, I'll show you one a student did here. That was her finished piece. And for this technique, we actually did some marbling, but the markers work totally fine for what we need for this. So go ahead and take your glue stick, put you some glue on the back, glue it down every place that you don't have touched. This is in the foreground, this is in the front. All the other spots there we'll go ahead and color up. And I like to put the middle one first. You can use all different kinds of buildings. Take these and flip these over to show you this is what one of the buildings would look like. See all the columns that they have? And this is, you have all different kind of styles. You can put 2, 3, 4, 6. I just wanted to give you plenty of time to do them. Okay? So that's what we're doing. And after I spread these out, see, at any recess you could just continue coloring the outside. It gives us an idea where everything goes. You can also cut some other shapes. Line this up with the center. See how I have the center here? And then when you draw your lines, you can add lines on it. We can cut some more little bitty pieces. You can cut some little rectangles and put them, I like to cut different rectangles and put them in between to make it look like it's little steps or the bottom of the columns. Remember, the Greeks are the ones that created columns, and the Romans kind of liked their idea and started working with it. The Greeks used marble. The Romans actually did more concrete. And remember, this is the background, the midground, and the foreground, the front. We can go ahead and continue to color. Sometimes I like to put little shapes here and glue them on top, and then add little lines that go around. And I put little different, see how you just break up the different colors? I don't know what colors you were using today, but as long as you have 2 different colors, it really comes out cool. And I just cut a smaller one and put a smaller one on the inside. And you just keep adding color and color everywhere. Like I like to say, the more and the more you keep adding the color, the more it seems to come alive. So let me go ahead and put a few colors for us while we're doing that. I'll go ahead and do a few lines with my marker. This is what I usually do. Oh, I did one. I forgot to glue it. usually use regular Elmer's glue all the time, the liquid glue, but sometimes I use them this way. All right, so then you take your marker and you can go ahead and add lines right over your straight edge, whatever kind of straight edge you have. It will divide it up. See how once you start adding those lines, I would not use black until the very, very end. When you start adding those lines, it kind of seems to come alive. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and draw it. And these lines I would put up and down. I start in the middle and I do one on each side. See how we do those? I really enjoyed working with you. I hope that we can work again sometime. And just finish coloring it up. And you have your Mount Olympus terrain with a Greek building. Take a moment and view your neighbor's artwork. Look at yours from a distance as well. Notice the similarities and the differences in the artworks. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, and we've learned so many different things. We talked about Mount Olympus and the Greek gods and the Greek civilization. We also started an artwork that was about Greek buildings and also the Greek landscape that you'd see in Greece. As you go through your week, notice the kinds of buildings you see. Do the buildings you see have columns, possibly steps? What other kinds of architectural influences do you think were inspired by Greeks and Romans? Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope to see you again soon.